Stop. Whatever you were doing before this moment, put it down, set it aside, because what is happening right now is not ordinary. This is not background noise. This is not another video that floated into your feed by chance. You need to understand something before we go one word further. You have been waiting. Type I am ready in the comments if you believe your answer is arriving before this week ends. Let heaven see your faith right now. Not for days, not for a few weeks. You have been carrying a question, a need, a wound, something deep inside that has sat unanswered for longer than you can comfortably admit. You've prayed about it. You've cried over it in rooms where no one could see you. You've asked me, Lord, when? When will you answer? When will something finally change? I heard every single one of those prayers. And I sent you here today to tell you, your answer is no longer coming someday. It is coming before this week closes. Do not move. Do not skip ahead. Do not let anything pull your attention away from what I am about to say. Because if you stay with these words until the very end, you will understand something about your life that you have never been able to see clearly until right now. My child, I need you to understand how you arrived here. You did not stumble onto this message. You did not click on it by accident. There is no accident in my kingdom. Every step you have taken, every road that seemed to dead end, every door that closed in your face, each one of those moments was a coordinate. And those coordinates led you here, to this exact point in time, on this exact day. Before you were born, I already knew this moment would come. I already knew there would be a season in your life when the silence would grow so loud it would feel like abandonment. I knew there would be nights when you would lie awake, wondering if I had forgotten your name. I knew you would reach the edge of your patience and whisper, Lord, I cannot hold on much longer. And I planned for all of it. Not because I wanted you to suffer, never that. But because the answer I have been preparing for you is not a small thing. It cannot be handed to someone who has not been made ready to carry it. What I am about to release into your life required preparation, your stilt in you, in the people around you, in the circumstances that are even now shifting in ways your natural eyes cannot yet see. You have been in a season of preparation. That season is ending. The waiting you have experienced was never punishment. It was never proof that I was distant or indifferent. Every day of silence was a day I was working on something so specific, so perfectly suited to exactly who you are and exactly what you need, that it required time to build. Great things are never rushed. The most precious things I create take the longest to complete. And you, my beloved child, you are one of the most precious things I have ever made. Type still standing if you have been waiting longer than a year and you have not given up. I need to see how many of you are still holding on. That is why your answer has taken this long. That is why I would not let you settle for anything less than what I have been building. That is why every shortcut you tried did not work. Every substitute you reached for fell apart. Every imitation of the real thing I have for you left you emptier than before, because I was protecting you from anything that was not the fullness of what I promised. Do not treat this moment lightly. You are sitting at the edge of a breakthrough that has your name written on it in eternity. Stay here, stay with me. Because I am only getting started. I want to be very clear about something right now, because your enemy does not want you to receive this. Even as these words reach you, there is a force that is whispering in your ear. It is telling you that this message is not for you. It is telling you that things will not change this week. It is trying to convince you that the waiting will continue, that the answer will not come, that hope is a fool's game. Do not believe it. That voice is not wisdom. That voice is fear. That voice belongs to the one who knows exactly what is about to be released in your life, moans, and is desperate to make you close your heart before it arrives. The enemy does not attack what is empty. He attacks what is full. He does not fight over worthless ground. He fights over territory that is about to become significant. The reason the pressure on you has been so intense lately, the reason the doubt has been so loud, the exhaustion so deep, the discouragement so heavy, know that attention eyes is not because things are falling apart. It is because things are about to come together. I need you to hold on. I need you to keep reading, because I have things to tell you that will change the way you see everything that has happened to you. And I have things to release into your life this week that will make you understand, finally and completely, why the waiting lasted as long as it did. Do not leave this message before it is finished. What I am about to say next is the part your soul has been searching for. My child, I want to talk about the weight you have been carrying. I know you have tried to carry it quietly. I know you have smiled in front of others while something inside you was slowly wearing down. I know you have found ways to push through the days, to get up, to function, to keep going, even when every part of you wanted to stop and ask me, why is this taking so long? I saw that. Every morning you chose to keep going when you had every reason to give up. And I saw that. Every time you prayed and heard nothing back and chose to pray again anyway, I saw that. I saw that. Every time someone around you received their breakthrough and you quietly celebrated for them while privately wondering when yours would come, I saw that too. And I want you to know something that I need you to really hear, deep in the center of your heart. Your waiting was not weakness. Your waiting was one of the most powerful acts of faith I have ever witnessed from you. Comment the one word that describes what you have been believing God for. Just one word. Let's fill this comment section with faith tonight. Think about what it costs to keep believing in something you cannot see. Think about what it requires of a person to keep trusting in a promise when every visible sign seems to contradict it. The world will tell you that is foolishness. The world will tell you that faith without evidence is delusion. But I tell you that what you have done, the holding on, the not giving up, the still believing even in the silence, that is the rarest thing in all of creation. Not everyone does what you have done. A lot of people let go. A lot of people decide the wait is too long and settle for something smaller, something easier, something that does not require faith to receive. They stop believing before the answer arrives, and then one day they wonder why their life feels hollow, why the thing they settled for never quite filled the space that was made for something greater. You did not do that. You stayed. You endured, even when it hurt, even when it made no logical sense, even when people around you could not understand why you were still holding on. No, Trient, you held on. I need you to understand what that means to me. It means everything. Now, I also know there have been darker moments when the pain was not just disappointment, but something deeper, something that felt like grief. I know there have been times when the unanswered question was not just about a circumstance, but about whether you were truly seen, truly known, truly loved at all. There have been nights when you lay in silence and the question was not really, Lord, when will this change? The real question underneath everything was, Lord, do you see me? Do I matter to you? Am I worth your attention? My child, come close to me right now, because I need to answer that question directly, clearly, with everything I have. Yes, I see you. I have always seen you. There has not been a single second of your life when my eyes have looked away from you. Not in your darkest hours, not in your most broken moments, not when you said things in anger, not when you pulled away from me, not when you doubted out loud everything you privately still believed. I was there. I am here. Has there ever been a night when you cried so quietly that no one heard you, your calm mornings, but you knew God did? Type, "He heard me," if that has been you. The distance you felt was never real. The silence you heard was not indifference. I was closer to you in those quiet, painful seasons than I am when everything is going well and praise comes easily. It is in the deepest valleys that I am most near. It is in the longest nights that my hand is most firmly underneath you, even when you could not feel it. Every tear you cried, I caught it. Every prayer you whispered when you were too tired for words, your home, I heard it. Every time your heart broke and you had no language left to pray with, I understood it. I understood it better than you did yourself. You have never been alone, not for a single moment, and the answer you have been waiting for was never lost or forgotten or delayed out of carelessness. It was delayed out of love, because I would not give you something that would harm you. I would not hand you a gift before you were ready to receive it without it breaking you. But you are ready now. The preparation is complete. The season of waiting is ending. And before this week is over, you will begin to see the evidence of everything I have been building in the place where you could not see it. I want you to pause right now and feel what is happening in your spirit. Something is shifting in you as you receive these words. There is a part of you that recognizes this, not just as words on a screen, but as a voice you have been longing to hear. That recognition you are feeling is not imagination. That is your spirit confirming what your mind is still deciding whether to believe. Trust what your spirit knows, because right now, even as you sit here, things are moving in the unseen realm on your behalf. Answers that have been held in heaven are being released into the natural. Doors that have been closed are receiving the key. Chains that have held your situation in place are being broken one link at a time. You will not see all of it today, but before this week ends, you will see the first signs. You will see a movement, a shift, a door opening where there was only wall before. And when you see it, and you will see it, remember this moment. Remember that I told you. Remember that I was faithful even when the night was its longest. Be honest in the comments. No Don Des. How many times have you almost given up on this prayer? Type the number. No judgment here. This is a safe place. The signs are already on their way to you. Do not close your heart to receive them. Do not talk yourself out of recognizing them when they arrive. This is not a time for doubt. This is a time to position yourself to receive. Let me tell you specifically what is coming, because I do not speak in vague promises with empty hands. The answer that is arriving for you this week is not a partial answer. It is not a stepping stone to something else. It is the thing itself, the real thing, the full thing, the thing you stopped letting yourself hope for, because hoping had cost you too much pain. Some of you have been waiting for a door to open in a situation that has been completely closed for years, a relationship that went silent, a financial need that has pressed against you until it felt impossible to breathe. a health situation you have carried in quiet fear, a purpose and direction that has felt invisible no matter how sincerely you sought it. I am not going to tell you that everything will look the way you imagined it. That everything will look the way you imagined it. Sometimes what I give is better than the picture you drew in your mind. Sometimes the answer comes in a form that surprises you, not because I misunderstood what you needed, but because I understood it better than you did. The deepest need underneath the surface request, nurse, that is what I answer. And when you see what arrives, you will recognize it, even if the shape was not what you expected. What I am releasing toward you this week carries alignment. Not just an answer to a single question, the null, your belongings, but an alignment of your life into the direction it was always meant to move in. The kind of alignment that, once it arrives, causes multiple things to shift at once. Suddenly the door that was closed is open. Suddenly the conversation that was impossible becomes possible. Suddenly the provision that was absent materializes. Suddenly the peace that you chased for years lands in your chest and stays there. That is what alignment feels like. And that is what is coming. I also want to speak to the part of you that has been quietly afraid that even if the breakthrough comes, it will not last. Afraid that you will receive something good and then watch it taken away again. Afraid that hope is a trap and that allowing yourself to believe will only set you up for another fall. I hear that fear. I understand where it came from. It came from real pain, from real disappointment, from seasons when things did not turn out the way you expected. And I do not dismiss it, but I need you to hear this. What I am releasing into your life this week is not temporary. It is not a brief window that will close before you can fully step through it. The breakthrough I have been preparing for you is a foundation, not a visit. It is meant to be built upon. It is meant to be the beginning of something that lasts. Plant your faith in it. Root yourself in it when it arrives. Because this is the season I turn your mourning into something you once believed was too good to be true. Before I close, I want to do one more thing for you. I want to give you back something the waiting took. The years of unanswered prayer took something from you. Not just patience, but you kaldu the reminder, your surdu the sukness divine, but a piece of your confidence in yourself. Somewhere along the way, the long silence began to speak its own message. And the message you started to hear was, make domesticness, chakot and numbagamesa. Maybe you are not the kind of person things go well for. Maybe breakthrough is for other people. Maybe you are always going to be the one who waits and watches while others walk into what you prayed for. That is a lie, and I need to pull it out by the root right now. Type I felt this if at some point in this message you stop breathing for a second because it felt like God was talking directly to you. Your story is not a story of being left out. It is a story of being kept back near for a reason, for a time, for a purpose that is becoming clear right now. Every person who walked into their answer before you was not ahead of you. They were simply on a different timeline. Your timeline is not behind theirs. It is yours, and it is right on schedule, my schedule, which has never once been wrong. The years you spent waiting were not years lost. They were years that built something in you that cannot be built any other way. Patience that has been tested is not the same as patience that has never been challenged. Faith that has survived doubt is not the same as faith that was never questioned. Hope that has been wounded and chose to rise anyway. Loathing that is not the same as hope that was simply never tested. You are not the person who started this journey. You are stronger than that person. You are deeper than that person. You have a capacity now to receive and to hold and to steward what is coming that you did not have before. That is not a coincidence. That is exactly why the timing was what it was. The years were not wasted. They were invested. And the return on that investment begins this week. I need you to pick up the part of yourself you put down. The version of you that used to dream freely, that used to believe without apology, that used to look forward without flinching. Bring that version back to the surface. Because what is coming requires the full, unguarded version of you to receive it. Do not greet your breakthrough with a half-closed heart. Open completely. Let this be the week you allowed yourself to fully believe again. My child, we are coming to the end of this message. But I do not want you to leave the same way you arrived. When you came to these words, you may have been carrying heaviness. You may have been tired, discouraged, quietly holding a grief that you had no name for. You may have been one moment away from giving up on the very thing that is about to turn around. I need you to set that down right now. You do not need to carry it anymore. The waiting you were asked to endure had a purpose, and that purpose has been fulfilled. The preparation is complete. The time has arrived. What your heart has been holding space for, what your prayers have been reaching toward all this time, it is on its way. Before this week ends, you will see the first sign of what I have been building. Receive it with gratitude. Speak it out loud. Tell someone what I did. Because your testimony is not just for you, it is a bridge that someone else will use to find their way back to hope. Let this week be the week everything you stop believing in starts to become real. I have loved you every day of the waiting. I will love you every day of the breakthrough. And I will love you in every season that follows, in ways that never run out, never cool down, never look away. The answer is arriving. Open your hands. I want to stay with you a little longer because there is something still unsaid, something that has been sitting at the edge of everything I have spoken so far, waiting for the right moment to come forward. And that moment is now. You received the promise. You heard about the breakthrough. You understood, maybe for the first time in a long time, that the waiting was never abandonment. But there is a question underneath all of that. A question that some of you have never let yourselves ask out loud because it felt too dangerous, too vulnerable, too close to the deepest fear you carry. Type "I know that feeling" and let someone who needs to see it find it today. The question is this: what if I receive it and I am not enough for it? What if the answer finally arrives and I am too broken, too worn down, too far from the person I used to be to actually step into it fully? What if the years of waiting did not build me up the way I was told, but wore something away in me that I cannot get back? What if the door opens and I freeze at the threshold because somewhere deep inside I stop believing that I deserve to walk through it? My child, I know that question. I have heard it in the quiet of your heart even when your lips were forming other words, and I want to answer it with everything I am. You are not too broken for what is coming. You are not too damaged, too late, too used up, or too far gone. There is no version of you that has arrived at a point where my promises no longer apply. There is no level of weariness that disqualifies you from receiving what I prepared for you before the world began. Let me tell you something about the people I have used most powerfully throughout all of history. They were not the polished ones. They were not the ones who had it together, who had never stumbled, who had walked a clean and unbroken road from beginning to end. The ones I chose, the ones whose lives became testimonies that still echo across centuries, Valocis, were the ones who had been broken the longest and held on anyway. The shepherd boy who was overlooked by everyone, including his own father, became the king who carried my heart. The woman who had been dismissed and discarded 5 times over became the one who told a whole city that the Messiah had come. The man who denied knowing me 3 times at the moment that mattered most, became the rock on which something that would outlast empires was built. Brokenness has never been a disqualifier in my kingdom. Brokenness, surrendered to me, becomes the very material I build the most unshakable things from. So do not look at the cracks in yourself and decide they mean you are not ready. Look at the cracks and understand, lyther nessen nivest, solo nessen lyther nest. That is exactly where my light gets in. That is exactly where my strength fills the gaps your weakness left open. That is exactly where I do my most precise and most beautiful work. You are ready, not because you are whole, but because you are willing. And in my hands, willingness is always enough. Now I want to speak to something even more specific. Because your waiting has not been generic. It has had a shape. It has had a texture and a particular kind of pain that is unique to what you have been carrying. Let me describe it to you, and I want you to notice whether this reaches something in you. There is a version of waiting that is simply impatience. You quote, wanting something good to arrive sooner than it has. That kind of waiting is uncomfortable, but it is surface level. You can manage it. You can distract yourself from it. You can fill the gap with other things and mostly function. But that is not the kind of waiting you have been doing. Say this out loud and then type it below. My answer is on its way, and I will not close my heart before it arrives. Speak it into existence. The waiting you have endured has been the kind that touches your identity. It is the kind where the unanswered question began to raise a deeper question about who you are and whether you are the kind of person whose prayers get answered. It is the kind where you stopped just praying for the thing and started praying about yourself. Sirs asking me to show you what was wrong with you, what you had done that caused the silence, what you needed to fix or change or surrender before the answer would come. And because you are someone who takes faith seriously, you went looking, you examined yourself, you repented of things, you changed things, you adjusted your approach, your attitude, your expectations. You tried to make yourself more worthy of what you were asking for, and still the silence continued. And that is where the deepest wound of this particular season lies, not just in the unanswered prayer itself, but in the conclusion your heart began to draw from the continued silence after you had already done everything you knew to do. My child, I need to correct something that got planted in you during that season. A wrong belief that took root without you realizing it, that has been quietly shaping how you see yourself and how you approach me ever since. The silence was not a grade. It was not a score. It was not a reflection of your spiritual performance or a measurement of your worthiness. I was not withholding the answer because you had not yet reached the required standard. That is not how I work. That is not who I am. I do not love you based on your performance. I do not release blessings as rewards for sufficient devotion. I am not a system you can optimize your way through if you just find the right formula. I am a father, And my reasons for the timing of what I release into my children's lives have nothing to do with whether they have earned it yet. My timing is about readiness, Yol, and readiness is not the same as worthiness. Readiness is about whether the ground can hold what I am about to plant. Whether the soil of your life, the circumstances around you, the people positioned in your path, whether all of it is in the right alignment to receive what I am releasing and let it take root and actually grow into what it is supposed to become. You did not cause the delay by being insufficient. You were never insufficient. And the answer was not held back because you had more improving to do. It was held back because the full picture was not ready yet. Because there were pieces still being moved. Because the person who needed to be in position to be part of your answer had not yet arrived at their own place of readiness. Because a circumstance that will become the vehicle for your breakthrough had not yet matured to the point where it could carry the weight of what I was going to bring through it. You were always ready enough. I was always working. The timing was always mine, and it has always been perfect. I want you to stop for a moment right now and do something. Take a breath, a real one. Not the shallow kind you have been breathing for the last few months. The held-in kind, the braced kind, the kind of breath you take when you are constantly waiting for something to go wrong. Take a breath like someone who has just been told that the thing they feared is not coming. Like someone who has just been given permission to unclench. Because I am giving you that permission right now. You do not need to stay braced. You do not need to keep your guard up against hope. You do not need to protect yourself from disappointment by preemptively deciding not to believe. The answer is coming. It is already in motion. Even if you cannot feel it, even if nothing visible has shifted yet, even if tomorrow morning looks exactly like every other morning for the last several years. The movement has already begun in the unseen place, and what begins there always finds its way here. Let your body know what your spirit is about to receive. Type Thitchius week if you are choosing right now to believe that before Sunday comes, you will see the first sign of your breakthrough. Breathe and stay with me. Because what I am about to say next is what I most need you to carry with you when you leave this message today. I want to prepare you for the arrival. Because receiving a breakthrough after a long season of waiting is not always as straightforward as it sounds. There are ways people lose what they prayed for, not because it was taken from them, but because they were not ready for the particular way it came. Or because they let the enemy talk them out of it before it fully landed. I do not want that to happen to you, so let me teach you how to receive what is coming. The first thing I want you to understand is this. This your breakthrough may not announce itself loudly. After years of waiting for a dramatic sign, for a thunder and lightning moment, for something so undeniable that even your doubt cannot argue with it. You might be expecting the answer to arrive with force, with obvious, unmistakable certainty. Sometimes it does, but often, far more often, it comes quietly. It comes as a conversation you were not expecting to have, as a thought that surfaces in the night and will not leave you alone. As a connection that seems too timely to be coincidental, as a door that opens so naturally that you almost walk through it before you realize this is the one you prayed about. When those moments arrive this week, I need you to recognize them. I need you to resist the temptation to dismiss them as too small, too ordinary, too unspectacular to be what you were waiting for. Do not let the expectation of drama cause you to overlook the miracle because it came dressed in the ordinary. Pay attention this week in a way you have not paid attention in a long time. Be present to the moments as they arrive. Notice the small shifts. Track the unexpected conversations. Do not sleepwalk through the days between now and the end of this week, because the answer I am sending does not need you to be dramatic in response. Nunga, it needs you to be awake. Dramatic in response. Nunga, it needs you to be awake. The second thing I want to tell you is this. Neist, when the answer begins to arrive, the enemy will immediately offer you an explanation for it that removes me from the picture. He will tell you it is coincidence. He will tell you it is luck, or good timing, or just the natural outcome of circumstances that were always trending this way. He will work very hard to give you a story for what is happening that requires no faith, no relationship with me, no acknowledgement that I was the one who moved. Do not accept that story. What is about to happen in your life is not coincidence. It is not luck. It is not the random good fortune of someone who happened to be in the right place. It is the deliberate and intentional faithfulness of a God who never forgot your name, never lost track of your situation, never put your file at the bottom of the pile. Receive it as what it is. Receive it as answered prayer. Speak that out loud. No, not for my benefit, but for yours. Because the way you narrate your own breakthrough determines what it builds in you. A miracle received with gratitude builds faith. A miracle explained away builds nothing. And I want what is coming to build something permanent in you. Sonoju no Jill is coming to build something permanent in you. The third thing, loading, and this one matters deeply, is that I want you to share it. Comment I receive it if you are done waiting in fear and you are now waiting in faith. There is a difference, and today you crossed over, not because I need the credit, not to perform gratitude for an audience, but because there are people in your life who are at the exact point of despair that you were at before you received these words today. People who are one piece of testimony away from choosing to hold on instead of let go. People whose faith is hanging by the thinnest possible thread. And your story, your specific, personal, I waited this long and God came through story, is the thing that will keep them from releasing it. Your breakthrough is not only for you, it never was. Everything I do in individual lives is part of a larger story that I am writing across many lives at once. What I am releasing to you is a gift, your kind, but gifts given freely are meant to flow. When you receive it, let it move through you. Tell someone. Tell the story honestly, including the long and painful waiting part, because that is the part that will reach people. Not the polished, edited version, the real one, the one that costs you something to tell. That is the one that carries power. I know that the people hearing these words are not all waiting for the same thing. The answer that is coming wears different faces for different people. And I want to speak to each of you directly, because I am not speaking in general terms today. I am speaking to you. Some of you have been waiting for healing. You have been carrying a diagnosis, a condition, a physical reality that has sat over your life like a shadow. You have prayed for it. You have believed for it. You have watched others receive healing and quietly wondered whether that kind of miracle was available to someone like you in a situation like yours. You have had moments of faith and moments of collapse, and through it all the condition has remained. I see what you have carried. I see the fear behind the brave face. I see the way you have had to negotiate with hope, the hope, giving it a little, then pulling back when it hurt too much. And I am telling you that the answer moving toward you this week touches this. It may not look like a sudden dramatic reversal. It may come through a conversation, a direction, a person placed in your path who carries a piece of what you need. But movement is coming, evidence is coming. Do not close your eyes to the small signs of it. Finish this sentence in the comments. Lord, the one thing I have been waiting the longest for is... This comment section is your altar tonight. Some of you have been waiting for restoration, a relationship that broke, a family that fractured, a person you love who moved away from you, Selah, not in distance but in closeness, in trust, in the warmth that used to be there. You have prayed for it to be rebuilt. You have wondered whether some things, once broken, simply stay broken. You have grieved the version of that relationship that used to exist and tried to make peace with the loss of it. Peace is not the same as acceptance of permanence. And I am telling you, Nobu Vanga Maivri Stivri, so I am a God who restores. I am a God who softens what hardened and rebuilds what fell. The movement coming toward you this week may begin with something small, a message, a reaching out, a moment where someone who was closed takes a single step in your direction. Watch for it. Receive it without demanding it be the full restoration all at once. Let the beginning of the thaw be enough for now, knowing that what begins will continue. Some of you have been waiting for direction. You have been standing at a crossroads for so long that the crossroads itself has started to feel like home. You have prayed for clarity and received fog. You have asked for a sign and received silence. You have watched your peers move forward with certainty while you remained standing still, trying to hear a word that seemed to never fully arrive. What is coming for you this week is not just a direction. Turvely, it is a confidence. It is the settling of something in your spirit that has been restless for a long time. The specific path will become clearer. A piece of confirmation is coming that will make the next step feel not just possible, but right in a way that nothing has felt right for a long time. When that certainty arrives, move with it. Do not second-guess it back into fog. Trust it. I have been working toward this clarity in you for the entire duration of your waiting. I need you to hear me now, because we are approaching the end of this message, and I want to make sure nothing I have said tonight gets lost in the ordinary noise of tomorrow morning. Write something down, not because I need you to keep notes, the soul, but because there is power in physically committing to what you have received. Take one sentence from everything you have heard today, the sentence that landed deepest, the sentence that felt like it was written specifically for you rather than for anyone else. Write it somewhere you will see it before the week, because the enemy's strategy is not usually to take the word away from you dramatically. His strategy is to let life crowd it out, to let Tuesday morning and its busyness and its noise slowly push the thing you received today back into the pile of things you heard once and meant to hold on to. Do not let that happen. What came to you today is a seed. Seeds do not grow on their own. They need to be protected, kept in the right environment, returned to again and again. The word you received today needs you to carry it actively through this week. Your serve will serve a night Javod, not just receive it once and move on. Come back to it. Let it be the lens through which you look at what unfolds between now and the end of this week. And when the evidence starts arriving, rhyme, your kind, and it will, your kindma, let each piece of evidence water the seed further. Let gratitude be the soil it grows in. My child, you came here tired. You came carrying years of unanswered longing. You came half hoping, half afraid to hope. Tag someone below who has been waiting so long they have almost stopped believing. Do not let them miss this message today. One tag could change everything for them. You are leaving different. Not because circumstances have changed yet, mole, but because something in you has. Something settled, something open that had been shut for a long time. The answer is already moving toward you. Heaven is already in motion on your behalf. Before this week closes, you will see it, receive it fully, speak it out loud, share it freely. And when you do, remember this moment. Remember, I told you. I love you. I always have. Now go and receive what has always been yours. If this message found you at exactly the right moment, if you needed to hear this today more than any other day, type right on time below. Let God see how many people He reached today.